I want to hear a little bit about the growth of that first agency before you got to the exit. What were your challenges? So you started off on Twitter, you started off doing this, and then somebody came to you and said, "Hey, I want you to do this for us, and I want to make money with this." So growing an agency is not easy. What'd you do? What were your challenges? Do you remember specifically like some times where you were kind of really struggling to grow this? Because it sounds good. You grew it and then you exit it. It's like what everybody wants, but that's not the reality.
No, yeah, definitely there were some very stressful times. We got into this industry before the industry standards existed. Clients did not understand, and especially our agency clients, they knew there was all of this buzz around what this new social media, what the potential was and what the possibility was. There would be these breakout case studies that would go viral everywhere. Everybody expected us to be able to replicate. That's not how this works. And the platforms were changing. At that time, they were rolling out completely new interfaces. Facebook was rolling out new massive features. LinkedIn was rolling out massive features like every 3 months. We would barely get skilled up on it and implementing it for our clients. And then another massive change would happen. It was a really dynamic time. And so keeping being able to keep up with our existing deliverables in a changing landscape, being able to manage expectations with our clients when they're seeing only these one or two like golden child stories that are going viral, like that was a really tough conversation to have. They were just like, oh, well, then you, like, if we weren't hitting something, they were just like, oh, well, then you obviously don't know what you're doing. I'm like, we have only one person. Like, you can't be, Michael Jordan. Like, not every business can be like a superstar. So those were definitely challenges, right? Now people understand that, hey, you use social media different for personal brands versus B2C brands versus D2C brands versus B2B. Like, all of those are, yes, you can use social and you can use digital marketing for all of those things, but you don't use them the same way and you can't expect the same result. That was not the case back then. So growing was a lot of just showing what we've done before, committing to experimenting and being picky with clients that we took on that understood that, this was a new frontier. We were going to figure it out together, but our job was to figure it out. We had some clients leave us that thought we didn't know what the heck we were doing, but really their expectations were just unrealistic and they didn't understand what they were getting into. But then we had other clients who had no expectations and were blown away. So it was a very challenging time. Now there's standards, there's benchmarks, there's case studies across all industries and platforms. So it's a much easier way to manage expectations here. Yeah, clients still ask to go viral, but like you can kind of chuckle and say, okay, well, here's what viral in your industry looks like based on these hundreds of case studies. So it's a much different space now. People are much more educated on it.
Yeah, I always find it funny when people are like, "I just want to go viral," and it's like, but okay, what do you mean exactly? So, what was the tipping point then? If it, obviously you're talking about like early 2010s then, right? What was the tipping point where things started to really ramp up before you even got to that acquisition stage? Or was it, you were growing steadily, but always ups and downs and challenges, and you're just kind of fed up and you're like, we have a really good service, but I just don't want to do this anymore. And then you looked for acquisition. What was that like?
So the catalyst was actually the emergence of we were a social centric agency. And after those first few years, those sort of 6, 7 years that we were in it, the new players that were coming on board were players that were data first. They were like app developers first. They were web developers first. They were coming in with these highly technical, integrated, embedded things. And our team was really strong on the native platform. And I wanted to be data centric. And so I knew we were going to start struggling if we didn't figure out a way how to integrate some of these more advanced. We were doing Google Analytics, we were doing all of the standard stuff, but I wanted to offer, because I knew it was now a possibility, I wanted to offer more. I wanted to be able to have more data. And I knew that that was a bit beyond my expertise at that time. So then you think, okay, well, if I can't do this by myself, what are my options? Mergers, acquisitions. And as much as I want to say we were successful, we weren't in a position to go and buy other companies. And so then the other option is like have conversations with companies you can merge with that can potentially acquire you, that have those skills and can take you to the next level as you move from social media to a more digital marketing, completely integrated, full marketing stack, which is where it was going at that point in time. So that was, yeah. So that's what started the M&A conversations. We had some clients, and in retrospect, I probably should have told my clients ahead of time that this was sort of the plan, but I thought keep that separate and then we'll just let them know what happened. But I did end up getting an inquiry out of another city that they were looking to get foothold in our region with the types of clients that we had. And so we were going through that M&A process. They were looking to, we hadn't decided whether it was going to be one or the other, but they were a direct competitor to one of our clients, which was also in the software space. So that was a good fit for us. That was going to help meet the needs that I felt, and that we were going to fill a gap that they had. So we were just we were going through due diligence, but because it was one of my existing software client competitors, I gave them a heads up and I'm like, hey, by the way, I'm about to go through due diligence with this. If there's anything you don't want this company to know, let me know, or I'll give you the professional courtesy if we can terminate here at this point, just because I don't want to jeopardize your business and your marketing for that. Ethics and integrity are worth more than like the extra couple, dollars that you would have for having that extra clients on the book. And then that client responded by saying, we didn't know you were open to M&A. If anybody's going to acquire you, it should be us. And that company was Iversoft, a software company here in Ottawa. We got record time because they didn't want anything else to get in and happen. 8 days, I think, is what it was that it took us through that acquisition, from work, getting lawyers involved. Just because we had the existing relationship, it made sense. Once I realized they were open to it and they realized what I was trying to do, then we're like, let's just do it. Let's just make it happen. Let's do this. And yeah, a week later, the paperwork was done. The week after that, we were moving into their office.
Wow. I think there's a quick disclaimer. Don't expect 8 days for an M&A to fin by default, because that's impressive. That's really, really cool.